Hello and welcome back.
That was not actually funny, but
I know, that's what I did to her. Hello and welcome back to How to Homeschool in High School. Today is our very first round table, and I know a lot of people have been looking forward to these. We're going to be talking about a co-op, what it is like to be in a co-op, what a co-op is, and I have my friends here. We have Anastasia, Dora, and my sister, Tess. Do you guys want to just introduce yourselves? Actually, can you walk us through a little bit of your homeschooling journey, just what grades you're in, how long you've been homeschooling, just for people who maybe haven't heard your interview before?
all right, yeah. So I'm Annie or Anastasia, and I'm in 12th grade, and I've been homeschooling since kindergarten.
Yeah, my name is Dora, and I am in 10th grade, and I also have been homeschooling since kindergarten.
My name is Tessa. I'm in 8th grade, and I've been homeschooling since 2nd grade.
We're going to be talking about co-ops because all of us have been in a co-op at some point. Dora, you are currently the only one who is still in a co-op type
Yes,
environment.
I'm still going to Blackburn.
Yes, so we all have been in co-ops, so we're going to talk about that because that is one of our paths from episode, I hope I'm saying this right, episode 9, I believe, is when we talked about choosing your homeschooling path, and one of them was the fellowship path.
Mm-hmm.
And under the fellowship path is co-ops is one of the options. So, I don't know, would Blackburn be considered an umbrella school or a co-op?
I do not know what an umbrella school is.
I didn't know
You
what an
obviously
umbrella
didn't
school.
watch the episode then,
I
Dora.
know.
That's
So
embarrassing.
sorry.
Do you know what
It's a
umbrella- I found out 2 people haven't listened.
rude. Episode 9.
No, actually, it's
What
episode
episode
10.
is this?
Excuse you,
What episode?
Annie.
Oh, right, yeah, because you, brought it in at the beginning. So
I
you're like, I just
did.
learned about this,
I
yeah.
did. I was
What was the last episode
10
that you...
recorded.
Okay.
So I didn't mention it in episode 9 because I didn't know about it. But
Blackburn's a
umbrella
co-op.
schools, yeah.
Yeah.
Umbrella schools are they're like co-ops, but they're just like a collection of families that start a school.
No, it's more of a co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only 2 days a week.
So,
And, Blackburn doesn't issue transcripts or diplomas
Okay.
because your parents have the final say in your grades. So the teachers will give grades on the subjects, but then the parents can
They're
decide.
technically only suggested grades. So
Yeah.
Wow.
your parents do get to change your
Yeah.
grades if they think that a tutor was being unfair
Fair.
or didn't understand the circumstances or something.
That's really cool.
So that's, yeah.
I'm not sure we've ever used that though.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of does leave that last bit of responsibility with the parents, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll just start by asking you guys, I just want to know, how would you define a co-op? If you were asked to define what it is, what would you say?
Yeah. I think it's a collection of families who are all homeschooling and all have kind of the same goal for homeschooling.
Mm-hmm.
Some co-ops are a lot more loose and a lot less, what would the word be?
Structured.
A lot less structured. Thank you, Dora. Some co-ops are a lot less structured and they mostly meet for activities like a field trip or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then other co-ops will be very structured and they'll meet every week and they'll have assignments or classes.
Yeah.
So yeah, depending on your goal, you might want to be in a certain kind of co-op. But at the end of the day, it's just homeschooling families getting together and kind of working together to make the most of their homeschooling experience.
Yeah. Ease the burden
Yeah.
of doing everything on your own.
Right, and creating a sense of community, connecting with other homeschoolers, having that thing in common really creates good ties.
It's a way to plug in.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again. Plug into your homeschooling community. This is the way to do it. So
Number 1.
Yep.
so I guess our co-op would be considered an umbrella co-op because it was a bunch of families who...
Might be, yeah.
Why would it might be?
I agree.
We thought
Yeah.
2 people were gonna come to it because it was just a couple families who decided they want to get together and do school together instead of in public school.
Mhm.
But we ended up having 100.
It was a
No,
it was a
it
large amount.
It was
yeah.
a lot of kids. That's all.
Yeah,
I don't know
and
what else to
actually,
say.
the reason my mom started homeschooling was through a co-op.
Yeah.
She was she did not want to do it by herself. And so everyone was our school was extremely overpopulated. We were in portables, we had silent lunches, it was a ton of kids. And my mom's like, I don't really want them in that environment anymore, so they pulled us out and put us in the co-op that our church was actually at our church, so that made it even more ideal. So Mom started homeschooling because she had the co-op. So yeah, it was pretty much some people were veterans, they knew what they were doing, and the other people didn't know what they were doing. And just having that accountability and that those kind of people showing you how to homeschool, Mom learned how to homeschool through the co-op. So that leads me kind of nicely to the next question. How and when and why did you start? You guys have, interesting, because you did CC and then you did Blackburn, and then you did something before CC, right?
Right.
So how did you guys get started in co-ops, and like why?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Do you even remember what that first co-op was called? I just remember calling it co-op.
Yeah. So I guess we've been in 4 different co-ops from what I can remember. When I was first starting out in kindergarten, there was a woman at our church who was a veteran homeschooler and had been homeschooling, for a very long time. And she was kind of the head of this co-op in Western Pennsylvania. And to this day, we're kind of involved, and sometimes we'll go to activities with them. And it was just a very loose group. Whipchie.
Yes. Whipchie.
Yeah. So we'll just it was mainly going to field trips together or getting together every once in a while and doing a speech sort of thing or whatever the different families wanted to get together and do. So we did that for a couple years. And I remember, when I first was starting school, we would do it pretty regularly, and we'd go to the monthly meetings. And then when I was in, I think, 3rd grade and Dora was in 1st, we started attending a co-op in Mercer. And I don't remember what it's called, but it was, I think it was also just
one day a week.
Was it one day a week, or was it?
I thought it was
less regular than that. I don't remember, but it was like a class sort of structure. And, that was fun, and we connected with more homeschooling families. And then in 4th grade, we started doing, when I was in 4th grade and Dora was in 2nd, we started doing CC, which was one day a week and a very organized curriculum. But we did that along with our other work. And then we started attending Blackburn, which is 2 days a week, very structured classroom sort of setting, different teachers for different subjects, but then the other 3 days you're at home, and it's very flexible. And those are the different co-op experiences we've had. So it's kind of been gradually more and more structured, which is kind of interesting to think about. Yeah. It's been fun. Yeah.
Did you, I know, so CC is Classical Conversations, and I have mentioned CC when we talked about co-ops in episode 9, I think, was that. Yeah. And I've heard that they're very rigorous. Was that your experience? Or at least when you get older, it gets more rigorous.
Right.
We were never involved in the challenges through CC. Okay. We only did the foundations program when we were in grade school. So, it was never, super rigorous. There was a lot of memorization, but it was all set to music, and we learn really easily when stuff is set to music.
That's
so
true.
It's very fun.
It was never, remarkably challenging.
Yeah.
For us.
CC has this sort of framework where for elementary school, the goal is to get pegs in your mind of information and facts. And you don't know the context of the facts necessarily, but these are just these are the dates that these things happened, or these are places on the globe. These are math facts. And then when you get to middle school, high school, you start using those facts and connecting the dots. And they had a bigger curriculum, and a literature course and a Latin course and all these different things. And so we didn't ever do that. I'm guessing it would have been kind of similar to Blackburn, though, in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So, I could definitely see the challenge program being a step up from the essentials and foundations programs. So that's kind of how the structure of that co-op works. Yeah.
I've never really had it laid out for me before, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's fun to hear my 5-year-old brother singing Newton's second law of motion.
Yeah. There's all these little songs.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, and they don't know what it's about yet, but they will someday, and it's really come in helpful for me, in later courses. I'm oh my goodness, I have all these things memorized now.
Yeah. That is pretty awesome.
So, that's a cool setup.
If I would have learned Newton's second law when I was, I don't know, how old is Johnny?
He's 5.
Yeah, that would have helped me out a lot this year.
He was going around singing all of Newton's laws of motion.
That is
and I was
so awesome.
This is amazing.
Wait, tell me your homeschool without telling me your homeschool.
Exactly.
There you go. And then, Tess, do you want to explain a little bit about Ponte Vedra Christian Co-op a little bit? How did we get started? Well, I kind of talked about that already. Yeah. But our co-op we did that for 2 years. That was how we started homeschooling. And it was 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then we were home Thursday, Friday. And the only thing we did at home was just homework that they assigned, right?
Yeah, and also other curriculums that my mom decided to do.
That's true.
With the work that we had with the co-op.
Yeah. So, in ours was a little different from what I hear Blackburn that you guys have talked about already. Is ours was it was mostly moms that would take over a class. So we had a mom who would do math, and then we had an English teacher who was also a mom. And then for middle school, we'd move around classes. But for the elementary school, they had one teacher per classroom. But we did have a few
because
who came from public school and then decided to teach there, didn't we?
Well, no, but in elementary school,
you moved classes.
In elementary school, I had a teacher for math and grammar, and I think writing, and then a different teacher for science and history.
Okay, yeah, you did move. Yeah, I remember that. That's true. So ours was mostly parents. We had like maybe one or two teachers who came from a public school, and they just wanted to leave the environment and teach homeschooling, which is pretty cool. Yeah. And so yeah, we were there most of the week, which helped my mom out because then she knew at home what she needed to accomplish. Yeah. She had probably like a math lesson to teach us, and then some English homework we had to do, maybe some writing, but all of it was assigned by the tutors, so she didn't really have to assign anything besides the stuff that she did at home by herself. Right. It was a great way for her to get her feet wet, and she really wouldn't trade the experience for anything. But then when we moved up here, we did stop doing a co-op. We went strictly homeschooling from home. I guess that's what you say. I think we do you guys want to add anything about what like a normal week looks like for you Blackburn wise? I know you go 2 days a week and then you're home 3 days, right?
Yeah. And those 3 days, it's really just doing the work that we have assignment sheets. Yeah. Okay. And they have everything laid out for what you're supposed to do the other 3 days that you're not in class.
Cool. Yeah, and I know you guys already mentioned the fact that your co-op wouldn't hold transcripts for you. Your final grade was from your parents.
Yeah, they were I think they did follow like a pattern. They tried to set it up so that if you stuck with Blackburn all through the years, you would have enough credits to graduate. Yeah. But they didn't officially release transcripts or anything. I think that would have just been another legal step.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, another interesting thing about Blackburn that I don't think we've talked about is it only starts in 3rd grade.
It does not offer for K through 2nd.
Okay, because I think one of their priorities is for the parents to be really involved, and so they want the parents like teaching the kids to read and all those like first things. And then you can switch to Blackburn. So I think there are a lot of kids at Blackburn who started out in like a CC sort of setting. Yeah. So that's another interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point, because sometimes you need more help when you get to high school, which is because you have those more complicated things you have to go through.
Exactly.
Yes. So we're never in a co-op for high school, so that's why I'm happy to have you guys there. What was I? So I was 7th grade when we started doing homeschooling the way we're doing it now, and you were what? 4th grade. Yeah. So we only have like the middle school, and they didn't have high school in our co-op because we didn't have any high schoolers. So when the 8th graders graduated, they did start high school. And then just to give you an idea, these actually Blackburn's Pennsylvania, the co-op we went to was actually Florida. So this is completely different states. Yeah. Completely different homeschooling requirements. So ours were a lot looser. Florida is not very hard. I know I talked about this before, but Pennsylvania is one of the 5 hardest homeschooling states to do it. So there's a lot of co-op in Florida could be a little more lax. So definitely make sure you check out where you are and to see what requirements are needed, especially if you're thinking about starting a co-op, because a lot of, I know we have a local family who's starting a co-op, and Tessa might even join next year. Are there any advantages or disadvantages that you have experienced being in a co-op?
I have loved all our experiences with co-ops. CC was like, I don't know, I only have like amazing memories of doing that. Like, we had so much fun, like, hanging out with other homeschoolers and, like, learning everything that we learned. And honestly, a lot of those, like, silly little songs have stuck with me, and
Yeah.
they are actually really
Very
helpful.
There's also this 13-minute long
Timeline
timeline.
song.
We
Time
love
line.
that too.
Oh my goodness,
Oh
we
my
love that song.
goodness.
That is still like our family anthem.
We joked that it was like our family's theme song because we all had it memorized by like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
age of 6, and like
Yeah. We drove out to Iowa the one time to visit my aunt, and one of my brothers was still really little, and that was the only song that would put him to sleep. So we literally listened to it for like
11
10
hours there
like,
and back.
Oh my goodness.
So you guys really have it memorized.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the background music memorized, like everything
yes.
about this song
Every
is
sound effect.
permanently ingrained in our brains.
Oh, so that's an advantage of co-ops, right?
Oh yeah.
yes.
I think another advantage would be extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So we had track and field. Tessa did baking.
I was too intimidated by track to do it.
Yeah, Tessa did baking, and
thought
then
I was
we
too
had
long,
art
but-
classes and gardening classes.
Knitting classes.
I thought you said Nadine.
I thought you said Nadine classes.
No.
We all need classes
We
in
need
how
classes.
Nadine's mind
Studying
works.
Nadine.
That would be very.
You do need a class.
What are you majoring in? I'm majoring in Nadine.
Wow. So
Okay.
does Blackburn have any extracurricular?
Literally no.
They do though.
Oh,
Shakespeare.
the Shakespeare.
We got so
we're
excited about
nerds.
Shakespeare.
We're such nerds.
Interesting thing about that. Someone from Blackburn actually won the Shakespeare competition this
Oh,
year.
No
wow.
way. So the Shakespeare competition is there's a theater down in Pittsburgh that has this competition every year, and schools can sign up, and then students that want to participate will come on a certain day, and they can perform either a monologue from a Shakespeare competition or a scene with a few other people. And you're not supposed to have very many props or any costumes, and you just walk up on the stage and act out the scene or the monologue.
Wow. Yeah.
And they announce winners. And so Blackburn has always signed up to be part of that. And so we'll have one of the moms or one of the teachers come and help us prepare, and we'll, practice several weeks in advance. And I've done scenes and monologues, and Dora did a monologue the one year. That was absolutely amazing.
It
was so
Annie
amazing, Dora.
is-
So amazing.
Annie is
Be quiet.
very generous.
Stop
Very
talking.
generous in her term of amazing.
It was a really fun experience. It was like our one experience at acting, drama
Yeah,
of any
and-
variety, and it was cool because it felt very official because you're like on the stage in the there's like an arts
Yeah,
cultural district in Pittsburgh,
Wow.
and you got judges and you got real feedback, and it was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Yeah, and
That was one
actually, this year, one of the kids from Blackburn in the younger grades, there's 2 sections, I think, like a younger
you can
half.
either compete as elementary or as like middle high
Okay.
school.
Yeah.
So in the elementary division, a kid from Blackburn won this year. Like,
Wow.
Which is pretty awesome because there's
he,
like 1,000 kids that do it or something. Like there's like a lot,
Like one
Yeah.
first place.
a lot of schools.
yeah, he won first place. And he, well, it was announced at the beginning of chapel
It was
at
a big deal.
Blackburn, like
Very exciting.
that he got to finals even, because that's a big deal. And then the next week we come in, and in chapel she's like, guess who won the
my
finals
goodness.
at the
So that was
Shakespeare
pretty exciting.
competition.
That's
and
crazy.
yeah, so proud of my school
Yeah.
going
Oh,
out
yeah.
there and winning the
Do you know
Shakespeare
what
competition.
he did? Like what monologue he did?
I don't actually, but
They should have him perform it
Yeah.
sometime
Yeah.
in front of the entire school because that
he
wouldn't be
does
scary
seem
at
like
all.
the right kind of kid to pull
Yeah.
off a
Yeah.
really good
You gotta have some
Shakespeare
confidence.
recitation.
Yeah.
I'm curious though. Which one did you do?
I did.
As you like it.
No, it was from the Merry Wives of Windsor.
Oh right, she did this scene where this guy who is trying to like woo this woman who has no interest in him,
Like a
sends
married
her
woman.
a letter.
Mhm.
Yeah, and she's like super mad, but then she decides that she's going to like
So my prop was like a
Embarrass
piece
him.
of paper, and I
stamped on it.
crumpled it up and stamped on it.
It was really
it was
awesome.
the love letter from this guy.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah,
and
it was really funny.
It was.
Yeah.
I was shaking the whole time. My
But
paper was
she
shaking in
looked
my
so
hand.
confident up there. I was honestly, I was pretty sure when you walked up there that you were just going to like pass out or something. Because you're in like seventh
Knowing
grade
me,
and you
I
get
probably
very
would've.
anxious in front of people. And then you looked so confident the whole time. And then you walk off and you're like, I was shaking the whole time. And I was like, I had no idea. So anyways, I was super proud.
That's awesome.
So that was a really cool experience.
That
Yeah.
sounds. And congratulations, Blackburn.
Pretty
And-
exciting.
What did you do for Shakespeare?
I did it a few years. So I did a bunch of different things. I
do you
did.
have your favorite?
Well, I think my favorite was I did the scene in Julius Caesar when Brutus's wife confronts him because she's like figuring out that he's going to murder Caesar, and she's like, or maybe she's not, I guess she's not really realizing it, but she knows something's wrong. And she kind of confronts him, and she's supposed to be like crying. My piece of advice, though, was that apparently the way my eyes were turning, they were like, we could never figure out where Brutus was standing. Like, you kept changing your mind about where he was standing. And I was like, that's one interesting thing about performing a monologue, is there's like no one else on the stage to kind of like keep your place, which is kind of
Do you have to memorize it?
Yes. Wow. Yeah.
That sounds like a fun experience.
It was really fun. Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's also an
way more
advantage.
information than you need about it.
That was really fun. That is one of the pros of attending something like a co-op, because then you can sign up to do things like schools do.
Right.
Well, like Plants and Pillars does athletics.
Yeah. With
local Christian schools. So,
although there are often ways though that you can sign up.
That's true.
Just as a family as well, because we have this funny story. Here's a funny homeschooling story, since you wanted one. There was one time this like minor league baseball game, and you could sign up as a school and go, and they had like free lunch or something. So we were like, oh, let's go to a baseball game together. And so we sign up as a school, but it's like the Brown Family Homeschool is the name of our school.
We got a whole wing.
We got an entire wing of the stadium to ourselves.
Way.
Yes.
It was just
we got announced on the board. It was like with this whole list of other schools, and it was like Brown Family Homeschool. And there's like 5 of us just sitting there. It was so awesome.
There eating our free hot dogs.
So much fun. So much fun.
That's a great story.
That was pretty great.
Oh, yeah. Do you have any advice for listeners who are looking into using co-ops for homeschooling, especially for high school? Do you guys have anything?
I mean, don't be afraid to supplement it if there's other things that are interesting to you.
Yeah.
I remember talking to a friend the one time who was doing CC, and she was like, I'm so bored because we're just doing like the same thing every week, and I want to like change it up. And I was like, well, when we did CC, we also did it along with our own English course and other things that we added to it. So, like, you don't have to feel like, oh, now that I'm in a co-op, I'm, like, stuck in a school and I have to just do what everybody else is doing. Like, there's still a lot of flexibility. So I guess that would be my piece of advice. It's just co-ops are there to help you and support you and, be an encouragement and a way that everybody can support each other. But they aren't supposed to, like, lock you into anything or, like, make you feel pressured. It's
not supposed to be a school.
Right.
It's supposed to be a help to your homeschooling experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if you... Am I good?
No, you're good.
If you want to homeschool by yourself, but you're too afraid to do it by yourself, a co-op is a good way to get your feet wet and everything.
That's true.
Have people support you and teach you the
ropes.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to hang out with your friends. You get to meet people, plug into your homeschooling community. Make sure you're not too tied to your co-op because, they're not supposed to be a supplement to they're not supposed to be your school. Like, that's not what homeschooling is supposed to be. So, you still want to be able to keep it flexible and still do what you want to do as well. But they add an extra level of accountability and they help you out I know my mom, most of the materials we used in our co-op for curriculum wise we use now, like that's where we found IUW, that's where we found Saxon. So now of course we've changed sciences over the year because our science curriculum we didn't really like that, but we found some gems there and we just kept them and they helped us be able to move away from doing our co-op and kind of do it on our own. So they're great. They're kind of like a bridge too if you want to use them as a bridge, or you can just use them as your school, but that works totally fine as well. So there's very unique to the person.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Definitely.
That's pretty much what homeschooling is. Very unique to the person. So for today's podcast question of the episode, do you have a favorite homeschooling, like do you prefer co-ops, online schooling, book curriculums? Do you have a favorite among
co-ops?
Those?
100%.
Co-ops.
Wait, what was the other option?
Online school, co-ops, book curriculums.
I think my favorite is also co-op.
Yeah, there's just something special about hanging out with other people while you're learning. I don't know. Yeah, it makes it. I don't know.
But still having the flexibility because it's only like 1 day or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice system.
Yeah.
But you
get the best of both worlds. I feel like with a co-op because, you're like around other kids in like a classroom setting and like learning the skills that you do need to like, I feel, well, not need, but it is very helpful to know how to like sit still and listen in a class. And
That's
I feel
church
like
skills, Dora.
fair, but also like
Yeah, I know what you mean.
in a classroom setting.
I will say I enjoyed the co-op in Florida very much, but I like what we're doing a lot.
Yeah.
I need to put my thoughts together.
Yeah.
But like when you leave the house, then it's not going to be very fun anymore. Although I hardly
I
ever
make
see
life
you
a lot
during
more
the
fun.
day anyway.
She does, though.
So I think it would be nice to have a little co-op. So maybe
Yeah.
co-op, but I guess it just depends on your family.
I think my favorite would be. I do enjoy what we're doing now, but there's something about a co-op that's nice too. Yeah, I don't know.
Definitely.
I think co-ops win in this group of roundtable. Co-ops win.
Yep.
Anyway, thank you all so much
Thank
for
you
being
for having
Thank you,
us.
Tessa, thank you.
This has been really fun.
Annie, thank you, Dora, for being on this little roundtable. And this is our very first one, and I'm sure it'll be the first of many. So I'm excited because I think it went well.
Oh, yes.
So yeah,
We had a great time.
thank you all for listening, and we will see you back next week. Bye-bye.
I feel like no matter where I stand,
Tessa.
family.
What? We're ending the episode.
Oh yeah, you said bye. Well, bye.